Here with Concordia Volleyball head coach Ben Boldt to preview the 2018 season, which is just over a week away as we record this, the first official match anyway. First off, you were named head coach back in December, so you've had 6-7 months or so on the job. How has that time period kind of matched the expectations you had of what you hoped it would be like here at Concordia?
Concordia has been really welcoming. Our team has been really welcoming. They've gone all in on what it is that we want them to do. We're not perfect at it. We got a ways to go in terms of first contact and just how we want the team to look. But their effort level towards all that stuff has been awesome. So the reception's been great.
So I guess kind of along those same lines you talked about in the spring of focusing more on the process than what the results were. How can you or what can you say about how things have come along in that regard?
Well, we were in the practice gym yesterday, and I was talking to our coaches, and I said, "Do you hear that sound? It's the sound of their hand on the ball. That sound is better than it was even last spring, even at the beginning of the camp here. And that's a process type thing. Our contact on the ball is getting better. That's what our focus is. It's being able to come into the gym and having a subjective goal of whether or not how I'm going to work today, and being able to focus on that stuff. Hopefully the results will be a byproduct of that hard work and that process.
Another thing that you had mentioned was kind of the pace of the way you guys were doing things in practice and so forth. Has that continued to be a theme, or how have you worked that in?
Yeah, I was watching film after one of the practices, and our pace really wasn't there at the beginning. So it has become an emphasis for us, just in terms of when we're actually in a match. There's a pace, and then in some other drills, it's a different pace. Well, we need to keep this high pace rolling throughout live play. So it has been an emphasis for us, and being able to get to serve quickly, being able to get to serve receive quickly, and being able to get to base quickly within the rally is something that we've been practicing a lot on.
Well, now that you've had time to see your players in practice, what are some things that you've noticed have emerged as strengths as you look back at what's happened so far?
Yeah, I think our passing has been a strength for us. We had a good passing day today. Our serving still needs to come along, and that's a mentality that we're trying to foster. There's a we're trying to eliminate miss hits when we serve the ball. We want great hand contact on the ball, so that needs to come along. But the mentality that goes along with that, it's trying to find the balance in between being really aggressive and really easy. So we want to get as aggressive as we can without having too many errors. So we're working on that mentality quite a bit. But passing has been a pleasant surprise.
I think you talked about your team's blocking too as something that you wanted to see improve and did a little bit in the spring. How has that aspect come along?
We're still working on that from the spring. Blocking again has a lot to do with reading the other team. So the more reps we get at that, the better we become. So right now it's rusty because we haven't. We've been playing throughout this summer, but it hasn't been the amount of playing that we're doing right now. So being able to read those people on the other side of the court, we're getting good reps at that, and it's coming along. It's a process.
Mm-hmm. Well, I know everyone kind of has a clean slate when a new coach comes in. What can you say about what the competition looks like for playing time? And I know it's still early as we talk in fall camp.
Yeah, we've been playing everybody pretty even so we can see who does what, who does what really well. Everybody's getting reps everywhere right now. Our pins are getting reps on the outside and the right side. Our middles are, they're playing front row, they're playing back row, and we need to figure out who can, if anybody can play back row from that group. But it's been pretty even reps to start off with. We're going to start narrowing it down here as we go along this week. Tonight's going to be kind of a scrimmage and get into varsity JV and kind of play with some lineups a little bit. So we'll see where people step up. And it's going to come down to consistency and how well they can attack. What their hitting efficiency is, and do they win?
Mm-hmm. Well, I think a lot of them were already in place as far as recruiting class that's coming in when you got on board. But what does that group add, and how do they factor into this season?
Yeah, the freshmen they've come in and they've really competed. They've been a sponge. It hasn't been anything where we have run into resistance anywhere. So they're coming in ready to play, ready to compete, and they'll fight for playing time just as much as anyone else. So we're gonna do our best to give everybody a fair shot, and we're gonna have to make some decisions here.
Well, when a program does come off a season that maybe wasn't where they wanted to be in terms of wins and losses, what do you find is kind of the most important thing as far as just instilling a positive environment?
Yeah, that's right where we're going with the process. That's what our focus is, and we have high goals. We have high goals of what we want to attain. But our focus is on that process, and as we go through, you can tell that idea is just permeating through the team. The love, trust, hard work, and sacrifice that we're preaching to them is just really showing through on the court, off the court, and that culture is coming around. We gotta, as coaches, we kind of got to stay out of the way. Just let them do their thing. We got to guide them where we want them to go. But it's happening. There's a lot of hard work happening.
Well, I think the moniker "champs before champs" that you guys have used is part of that. What does that mean for this program?
It's a mentality that it. On the court, off the court, what we want to be able to do is instill a championship mentality in these teams. You see teams at the end of the year that win national championships. They're not talking about win national championships. They're talking about being a champion every day from training camp all the way through the end of the season, and that's the mentality. That's the mentality that we want to instill. Champs before champs.
Well, you don't have a ton of time before report date for camp and the first official match with the way the schedule lays out. What's kind of the most important thing that you wanted to get accomplished this preseason?
I really want to see how well we can first contact the ball. I think that's going to be a big part of our team, so how well we pass, how well we serve, how well we play defense. If we can do that at a high level, then we're going to be in a lot of matches. Beyond that, figuring out what system we want to run, we're not exactly sure just yet. We have some players that can, maybe go in a one-setter offense, or we can go in a two-setter offense. So that's what we're getting into now. So we'll figure that stuff out, and we'll be ready to roll.